Hi, welcome to The Road Least Traveled. My name is Suli and I'm your host. In this podcast, I share with you what I've learned from my journey of self-awareness and spiritual awakening, and also some simple and practical tips to help you in your own journey. So stay with me. Let's work this thing out together. One thing I'm certain of after studying narcissistic family dynamics for almost 8 years and observing for much longer before that is that never, ever assume that you know even a tiny bit of what goes on behind closed doors, no matter how the story is painted for you to see. Very often, and I dare say possibly in all cases, the black sheep is the one with integrity and compassion. They're never the ones that badmouth their abusers. It's the other way around. They're also the ones with tremendous capacity to absorb all the blows for themselves as well as for other family members. So, what I'm trying to say is if you encounter someone who's difficult and hard to like, please consider being kind to them. They're not the office politicians, the corporate smooth talkers, the charmers. They're the weirdos that, people call unhinged. And they often get secondary abuse from people who don't know their history. But if you give them a chance, it can shift their path from possible suicide to self-actualization. Now, I'm not being dramatic here because black sheep, scapegoats, truth seers, they sink or they fly. All it takes is one person, one word, or one moment to alter their path. That's all it takes. Now, what part would you like to play in this game of Russian roulette? I personally know one black sheep scapegoat that took his own life, and nobody talks about it. It's really strange. It's as though he never existed. And I know another one who died at a relatively young age from countless diseases. He was constantly mobbed. And when I was much younger, I didn't know that it was called mobbing, and I joined in. Till this day, I feel bad about it. If I knew as much as I do now about narcissism, I would have tried to help them. But it's not too late to help others in a similarly dangerous position in this cult. What goes through the mind of a black sheep before they awaken is a jumble of contradictory thoughts. It's crippling. If you feel this way, I have a few tips to guide you to the path that you feel most comfortable with. Number one, recognize that you were programmed this way. The person that you think you are is not you, it's your programming. So get to know yourself. And the best way to do this is to take some time alone, go to a silent retreat or rent a cabin somewhere in the wilderness where there's nobody, no social media or news to taint your thoughts. We absorb other people's vibes and opinions on a daily basis. And this makes it very hard for us to draw the line between what's their opinion and what's truly ours. Our vibes are all intermingled. Number two, try to remember what your beliefs were when you were a child. If you're a black sheep, a scapegoat, or truth seer, a truth speaker, there's a very high chance that you were right all along. You were the kid in that huge crowd watching the emperor strut around in his new clothes. Everyone marveled at them, bowed and knelt before him to compliment him. You were that kid that blurted out, but he's naked. Suddenly there's a chilling silence. You received a tight slap on the face. Bring that child back and ask him or her for guidance. The answers are there. When I was 4 or 5, I used to sit outside every night staring at the dark sky, at the stars and the moon, wondering if the universe was finite or endless. I remember thinking, people say it's not possible for it to be endless, but how would they know? Even at that age, I knew that we don't know what we don't know. Now, I wasn't a genius or anything, okay? I was just very connected to myself on a soul level, and everyone can do this. Everyone is connected to their soul, but many have forgotten how to, including myself, for the longest time. But I went back to the child that I was to remember what I knew. One of my favorite sculptors, Michelangelo, he once said that He didn't create statues out of a block of marble. He just chipped at it and chipped at it until it released the person inside. So, what we need to do is to just chip away everything we've accumulated from other people. Number 3, you're not fearful. You were trained to be afraid because of your innate power. You need to acknowledge your courage and strength because, point number 4, fearful people are vengeful. You could be completely ostracized, stripped of your inheritance, and no one will care about you. I really don't want to be negative, and I won't dwell on this, yeah? But this is just to help you see the possible consequences and to help you decide whether to stay or to go. The choice is yours, my loves. Number 5, stop explaining. They're committed to misunderstand you. It's not your fault. It's not that you don't communicate clearly. If you keep wondering how to improve the way you communicate, it'll keep you in the hamster wheel. That's exactly what they want. It'll drive you crazy. They'll say, see, you're crazy. We always knew you were crazy. If the name of the game is they're committed to misunderstand you, then you can never win. Don't take it personally. It's not you. Number 6, keep in mind that once you, the truth-seeing scapegoat, leaves, the equation changes. For sure. 2 things can happen. 1, everyone will scramble to find a replacement, but nobody wants to replace you. So there'll be a period of uncertainty, possibly chaos, and a new scapegoat will somehow eventually take your place. This is done either unknowingly or deliberately. Now, the second possibility is you remain the scapegoat even from afar. It doesn't matter where you have escaped to where you live. You could be in Timbuktu, but you could still be the scapegoat. This is when everyone is silent and fearful of being the next scapegoat, so they toe the line carefully. Some families would create group chats just to bitch about the scapegoat that's left. It gives them a sense of security because for as long as you're still the target, everyone else is safe. Number 7, your soul tribe will come to you. If you're a truth seer, it's in your nature. You can't change that. And you can't change others. But when you're genuine and authentic, your soul tribe will find its way to you. You don't have to search outside. You just have to find yourself, hold on to who you are, and what's yours will come to you. If you don't like what comes to you, well, I think you know the answer. Number 8, don't pretend to be okay. If you pretend you're fine when you're not, you won't enter this dark tunnel, this dark abyss. But at the end of this tunnel, there is something far better than any content on Instagram and TikTok, far richer than any travel destination. You have grit. You can do it. And lastly, I hope scapegoats recognize each other and be kind to each other and ourselves. Those that are not familiar with this dynamic will see us as the bad ones. Let them. Seriously, I'm just too old for this shit. Just let's be nice to each other, okay? So those are the 8 tips to guide you through this journey. If you have anything to add, please just let me know in the comments. See you soon. Take care. Thank you for listening. If you found this of value, please follow and share it.